All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to Passion and Mental Toughness. It's basically the unknown success driver. Um, I'm Dr. Will Horton. I'm pretty well known in the NLP and the hypnosis world as a street smart NLP, cowboy NLP. I'm also an award-winning actor and writer, and had a lot of fun with this. So we're going to have some fun and do some different things. So let's first talk about passion. What is passion? Why is it necessary for success? How do you find and how do you access passion? That's always a great question. And really, it's how passion can lead to burnout, right? You need it to get started, but if you don't do certain other things, it can burn you out. And also, I'll talk about why you need multiple passions if you truly, truly want to be successful. And I love some quotes. John Wesley said, when you set yourself on fire, people love to come and see you burn. We like to see people burn. Uh, Field Marshal, a German field marshal, said that the most powerful weapon on earth is a human soul on fire. And again, I love that one person with passion is better than 40 people who are merely interested. So, is passion desire? That's always the question. Are they two different things? Are we using the same word for different things? I think they're different, right? Passion may start with a desire to learn, a desire to own, a desire for a person, place, or thing. You have a desire for it, you know, and that'll build your passion. But what begins to happen is desire jumpstarts the energy for something, but desire fades with time. A lot of times, desire will fade with success and achievement. It's or once you get it, you don't want it anymore. That's what also happens. Also desire will fade with prolonged frustration. You keep going after it and going after it. You have a desire for it. And then after a while, you don't get it. I don't want it anyway. Your rational mind will kick in, right? So also desire gets messed up by changing targets or goals. You start over here and you end up over there. And most of us can relate to, if not in our own lives, in other people's lives, where a red hot romance can turn into a cold relationship, right? That's a topic for another day that I'll be talking about at some conferences this year, you know? But desire must transform into passion, right? For it to really last. Because really what happens, desire begins to ignite a curious state. You begin curiosity about the target, whether that's a person, place, or thing. How can I own it? How can I get it? What does it do for me? I mean, it ups your need to do what you have to do to achieve this desire. You become curious about it. And really, if you channel it right, that can become curiosity about yourself. Like, why do I want this? Why do I want this Porsche? Why do I want this, whatever it happens to be? You know, but it's a desire. And sometimes it doesn't make any sense. I mean, consciously, I could say, well, Porsche is just a car, you know, but I want that car. It's a desire. I became obsessed with it when I went to get it, you know, and then it made me also look at myself like, wait, why do I want that car? And made me get some self honesty, which was fine, uh, because curiosity to me is so powerful because it opens you up to new learnings. It gives you new goals, because the more curious you are, the more enthusiasm you develop, right? Because curiosity opens you up to new ideas. It drives the mind to explore new possibilities. How can I do it? How can I do it? If you have a strong desire, which begins to develop into passion, how can I do this? How can I own this? How can I do whatever I have to do? And also, curiosity can drive you to challenge old limiting beliefs, right? Especially if your old beliefs are getting in the way of you getting what you want, right? And I love Ralph Waldo Emerson's quote on enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is one of the most powerful engines of success. When you do a thing, do it with all your might. Put your whole soul into it. Stamp it with your own personality. Be active, be energetic, and faithful. And when you accomplish your object, nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm, right? Because what happens, if people don't put their all into it, and because in our culture, there's a fear if I don't get it. Okay, fine. But if you can always say, yeah, but I really didn't try that hard. I didn't make the football team because I didn't give it my best, Well, that's a cop out, because when you go all out, when you go all in, then things begin to happen, right? And you got to have that enthusiasm, right? Because enthusiasm gives you the energy to help you in those down times. It can get you going, keep you motivated, right? Because what happens when you have desire and passion, you have to open up to new ideas, right, and adapt to new goals. Um, because what happens in this day and age, um, most of us have changing goals. You start down this path, and you end up over here for a while, and then you might end up over there. You know, I always think I work a lot with actors, and because I'm an actor and I like doing it, it's one of my passions. And you see people that start with one passion and they end up doing something totally different, right? And they enjoy it and they're having fun at it. You know, I always think of Drew Carey. Started as a comedian, then became an actor, did a TV show, was quite successful, and then he did a couple movies, and now he has a game show, and he enjoys it, right? And he does some stand-up comedy, but it was a new goal. It was open to a new goal, because when you have enthusiasm and curiosity, it opens you up for it. And I heard him talk. People go, "Why'd you do it?" He goes, "Well, I became curious about, could I do it? How could I do it better than what was done? How can I do it for as long as other people have done it?" Right? And he developed a passion and a way to do it, right? It was a different target. But really what begins to happen, and here's what I really wanted to get to, you need to have multiple passions. Because why do people burn out? They catch on fire, but only for one thing. And you burn out due to neurological overload. You know, when you're so focused on one thing, nothing, it can burn you out. It can destroy your life. We see it a lot where somebody becomes so obsessed with business. The only thing they're thinking about is business. They lose their family, they lose their health. You know, they may become rich, but they're dead. You know, they're the richest guy in the graveyard in their local town, right? But, you know, yeah, and I always put up there, skip the exceptions. Well, but this one person, they were obsessed about one thing. But usually people have multiple passions. And usually when you get to highly successful people, they have different passions. I got to go to this seminar, and there are a lot of very highly successful business people in this little inner circle group I was with. And I find people that love to ski. There was one that a lot of them liked flying airplanes, right? They weren't pilots well, one was a military pilot, but everybody else got into it later. It was their passion. Because the really smart people realize that multiple passion fuels you in ways most people don't understand, right? Because it transfers. The state of passion ignites the neurons, and the side effect of this is it can bleed into other aspects of your life. When you're, you know, like your business is, you've been doing it a while, you're like, and then you get passionate about something else. That passion goes back into what you were doing before. I always say, that's why I say my business, my training, my therapy always did better when I was in a play, because I was so passionate about acting and I'm curious, can I do it? How can I do this? How can I do this? And then when I'd go back to my office and I'd have a new client, it's like, how can I do this? How can I do that? I'd go do a training. I was up, I was motivated. It made me more motivated, not less, you know, because that's like the false belief that there's only so much love in a person, you know, that you can't love multiple things, you know, and anybody that has like more than one child or pets, you know, it's not limited. In fact, it grows the more that you have it, right? And it affects other aspects of your life. You know, like in my life, I can say, you know, I love the NLP, obviously, and hypnosis. It makes me curious. The more I learn, the more I realize I got a lot of shit to learn here. I'm pretty good at it. My ego would say I'm probably one of the top 5 in the world, but I've got so much more to learn, because now we got neurology into play, the chemical aspects into play, all this other stuff. Same with martial arts. I love the martial arts. And I got pretty good at one, and then I started learning pressure points. Whoa, it changed everything. And of course, I love my acting, singing, dance, you know, the performing arts, right? And especially those performing arts goes back into my training quite well. It makes me a better trainer, better voice. You know, I started taking singing lessons, and the first side effect I noticed after I took singing lessons really serious, I went to do a long training at the National Guild of Hypnotists, where I teach before, during the conference, and after. And it's noisy, and But for the first time I came back, my voice wasn't shot. I'm like, wow. And I went back to my voice teacher. He said, well, you're breathing different, and then I did remember, yeah, I was, especially when I got tired, I'd change how I breathe. I was focusing my voice different, things like that, right? And when you develop multiple passions, your brain and neurology open your drive, desire, enthusiasm that gets blocked by frustration, delay, and blockage. So you might be a little frustrated at work, but if you have another passion that you're doing that's quite successful, it can get you through that. It gives you an outlet and keeps you going. People forget that. And again, you look at all these high performance athletes, Michael Jordan when he played basketball, all these pro football players that love to play golf. And some of my friends that weren't athletes and don't understand it. Wow, why isn't he spending all of his time practicing his football or his basketball? Well, because you'd get burnt out. And they'd go play a round of golf. It opens your brain, makes you feel better, whatever it is. Because this really begins to develop a passion. And I'd like to ask you, do you have a passion for who you are? You're a unique, special human being. No one else in the world is like you. Of all the billions of beings living on the planet today, the ones that have lived before and the ones that will probably live after us, no one is exactly like you. With your neurological makeup, your genetic makeup, your training and background that come into this thing, do you have a passion for who you are and what you do, what you can bring to the table? Because people are drawn to passion, right? Our current president, Mr. Obama, was passionate, and that drew people to him. When you look at this year, while this is up, the current election cycle, on the Democratic side, you got, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Well, Bernie Sanders is winning, especially young people. They're drawn to his passion. He is passionate when he talks. Hillary Clinton sounds like a very well-trained lawyer who's been in government her whole life. I'm not slamming either one, but one lights your fire. The other one may intellectually, okay, this makes sense. But one is like, yes, same with on the other side. Trump ignites people's passions, right? Because people are drawn to passion, right? In every field. And again, I noticed a couple of years, I was pretty burnt out doing what I do. I'll admit it, right? And then I got back into doing a lot of plays and I was directing, and I go back to the guild. And everybody's like, what happened to you? I go, what do you mean? They're like, you're different. You're back, you're who you used to be. Laughing, joking, kidding around. Nothing seemed to get to me. Well, I focused too much on my work and not enough on other things. So, and again, it draws people to you. I'm so passionate about this. So a new passion can ignite or reignite old passions, right? And it makes you more interesting when you have multiple passions. You're not a one-trick pony, right? And again, when you go hear really good speakers, a lot of them, they can talk about many different things because they have different passions and how they begin to intersect or how they intersect these passions, right? Richard Bandler would always talk about his music. He was a musician and he played with these guys, and he would talk about his music and how music and the timing and this and that. And it was fascinating. You didn't really have to like music for it to be fascinating, right? So what are you passionate about? NLP, hypnosis, EFT, psychology, neurology. What else lights your fire? Besides that, to me, those are work related with what I do for a living. I like theater. I like acting. Lately, I've been getting into film acting. It's a whole different damn animal than stage acting. So it's made me realize, okay, what can you use? What can you not use? All this other stuff. How can you transfer one from another? And, it's like, whoa, it opened me up, right? And you begin to see how things begin to mesh very well together, right? So really what you want to do is turn your passion into grit, where you drive through things, right? If you really want to accomplish your goals, you got to have grit and that mental toughness. And that's what mental toughness is. Because new classes opens your neurology to new ideas. When I started taking classes again, I took, internet marketing classes. It made me interested. I started taking acting classes again, formal acting classes, on film, and then on this and auditioning and this and that. It lit me up. And then I got a mentor for one of my passions, in the acting world. It's like, wow, because everyone needs a sensei, a teacher, or a guru. And I'm one of the people that truly believe if you're going to have somebody mentor you or coach you, you should ask who is their coach. Do they have a coach? And I learned in the martial arts that, my martial arts teacher says, that if your teacher doesn't have a teacher, run, right? Because they think they know it all. And it's, and it's even somebody to bounce ideas off, So I have a couple of people in my business. I consider them mentors. Of course, martial arts, George Dillman and a few others. And then, in the acting world, I got this one person, couple now, 3 or 4, I really respect and admire. I take their ideas into my heart and think about what they're doing, under advisement, as they would say in the law. And, everyone needs that, right? Because it gives you an outside eye. And I know from theater, you think you're doing one thing on the stage or for the camera, and it looks totally different to the audience or to the camera, So sometimes it's hard to direct yourself, Not that it can't be done, it's hard, And sometimes you need an outside observer, a neutral observer, because it gives you a different perspective, and how that helps develop mental toughness. Also, too, when you're a mentor or a guide says, what the hell are you doing? WTF, whoa, you're going to be able to take that, right? Mental toughness, you got to have that. Because if you think about pro sports or martial arts or the elite like Rangers, the Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, you got to have mentally tough. And part of that mental toughness is taking feedback. And then just taking the feedback and incorporating the stuff you need, letting the other stuff go. Because passion's nothing without mental toughness. People who are mentally tough have a psychological edge that enables them to cope better than your opponents. And whether that's in sports or performing or whatever you happen to do, if you're mentally tough, it gives you that focused, confident feeling when you're under pressure, right? So do you wilt under pressure? Do you sabotage yourself, or do you thrive? Do you thrive? People that are mentally tough thrive, right? Michael Jordan used to talk about he loved close games. Part of him loved close games. Part of him liked blowouts, but part of him a worthy opponent, right? A worthy opponent. And so do you wilt under pressure? You go, I'm going to make this work, right? Mental toughness, we use that phrase a lot. But elite athletes point that 50% of superior performance is a result of the mental toughness. And most coaches, like over 80%, rate mental toughness as the most important set of psychological characteristics, right? Can you handle the stress? Can you handle the pressure, right? Can you? How do you react to it? Are you mentally tough? This, as I'm recording this, it's a couple days after the Super Bowl, and everybody's slamming Cam Newton. He didn't handle defeat well, right? Everybody's reaming, and they're doing this. Of course, everybody's armchair quarterbacks, and athletes think differently. None of the athletes had a problem with what he did. And as one brilliantly said, well, you got to remember, this is the first really, really big game he's ever lost. He won I think the junior college championship when he was in junior college. Excuse me. He won the NCAA championship when he made it to that game. This was the first time he lost, right? And he could not win. And now will he bounce back from it? Is he mentally tough enough to bounce back from it? That's yet to be seen. And also, it's the first time he happened. People compare him to when Tom Brady got beat in the game before for the, in the championship game. It's my fault. I should have done this. But he's been in the league 3 times as long as Cam Newton, and he's experienced loss before. He's lost Super Bowls. He's lost. That's exactly what Peyton Manning said. It's like, dude, unless you've been there and lost at the biggest stage of that sport, you don't know what it's like, right? And so we'll see. We'll see. I think he is, because I don't think he could get to that level unless he's mentally tough. And now we'll see what happens. So, of course, as always with my little things, I'm going to offer a special coaching program, mentoring program, because I believe this is the best thing out there on passion and mental toughness. And it's going to be different than anything else based on my 25 years of teaching elite performers of all kinds, you know. And if you don't have this course, you stay stuck and without passion. You can get started. I'm going to be doing it 1 session per week. I'll probably put it up on some kind of membership site, and it'll be recorded. I'll be doing little teachings, and I'll be doing phone consultations with each one. So you get one private phone consultation per week, and then the group thing that I'll do. And it's based on a couple other things. And why should you do this? Well, desire and motivation to succeed that is insatiable and internalized. You'll have a support network that includes supporting and non-supporting personnel, because then you can, even in your real life, if some of your people aren't supportive, which can happen with friends and family, you can block them out and stay focused on those. And you'll develop hope and optimism and perseverance, right? And resilience, as everyone talks about resiliency. So the ultimate passion coaching, right? Without it, you stay stuck. You burnout happens, so you're going to stay there. You have lack of energy, because when you're burned out, it's no energy. Passion and excitement, enthusiasm, curiosity fuels energy, right? You have a lack of drive, and from one area, it spills over in every area. And you have no magnetism, because passionate, motivated, enthusiastic people are magnetic. And of course, that gives you less charisma. And if you ever speak or do anything like that for a living, you need some charisma, right? With it, you have more energy, drive, focus, charisma, success, and mental toughness. Usually for like 4 sessions, what I was going to do, it'd be like $997. I'm going to do it for $497 for the 4-week course that will alter your life. It's based on the award-winning Directing Your Destiny program that I've been working on. And remember, you can't afford to buy cheap. If you really think you're going to get thousands of dollars of information and technology and help for $47, God love you. That doesn't happen, you know, unless the person offering it has stolen from everybody else, which we see on the internet. But you get what you pay for. Don't step over a dollar to save a dime. You can't afford to buy cheap. So you can begin to transfer passion into mental toughness, right? This is what we want to do. So if you decide you want to do this, email me at drwillhorton@gmail.com with what you truly want to accomplish. What do you want? So I can develop ways to help you get there. And then I'll have you PayPal the money to me, right? Or email me, and I'll send you an invoice, or part of what I'll do is I'll send you an email request for payment. And then we'll start the schedule to start your new life. One private, one group. The group will be recorded. The privates you can record. And I'm only doing this one time because it looks like my next project's taking off, that I'm not going to be doing this that much longer, what I do. So I've got new passions, new directions. So treat yourself to this and have some fun. So I'd like to thank you for being a part of this. And I wish everyone the best, and stay in touch as we trudge the road to happy destiny. Goodbye.